nobody. That's it.
What's up, you guys? Teddy Striker here, and I just saw UFC 315. Jack Della Maddalena actually beat Belal Muhammad. Now, I thought that he was going to beat Belal Muhammad, but the way he did it was really impressive. Like, he had an incredible game plan. He was controlling the octagon, using his jab excellently, using his beautiful takedown defense. The leg kicks were there. Sometimes he threw a few head kicks, and his defense looked incredible. I mean, Belal was having real trouble having any sort of success because Belal isn't as good when he's not the one that's controlling the octagon. If he's the one that has to kind of fight for the center, or he's the one backing up, he's not going to do as well. He does really well, and he shines when he's the one who's putting his opponents on the back foot, like he did with Leon Edwards, like he did with Sean Brady. That's when we see some of his career best performances. But from the first round, JDM was able to control that octagon, and Belal couldn't really get any real significant offense. And I felt like that was like a 50-45. I didn't see Belal winning any round, honestly. Like, the first two rounds were really clearly for JDM. Round 5 was clearer to JDM. Rounds 3 and 4, maybe you could argue, yeah, they were close, but I still felt like JDM won based on damage. He was lining the bigger shots. Like, you could see Belal giving bigger reactions, and JDM was starting to extend some combinations, and he was defending the grappling well, and I felt like he won every round against Belal Muhammad. And I don't want to hear anything about Belal Muhammad was off, or Belal Muhammad didn't look like how he did against Leon. No, that was the same Belal Muhammad. The only difference was the man that was in front of him, and Leon Edwards, he was willing to be bullied. Like, we had seen that before. We had seen it with Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman was able to put the pressure on him the whole fight, and then Leon landed a kick, but that blueprint still worked, and Belal used it. And with JDM was not willing to back up. He stood his ground, and like in all his UFC fights, you always see he's the one that's controlling the octagon. And that's why I felt like ultimately JDM was going to win. I just had a hard time seeing Belal be able to be at his best without being able to pressure JDM. But to be fair to Belal, I mean, his striking looked better than I thought. I thought he would get knocked out by JDM, but he looked great out there. He still showed the heart of a champion. He just wasn't the best welterweight in the world, and I feel like the belt is going to change hands again, not in the next fight with potentially Islam Makhachev, but I feel like the best welterweight on earth is probably Shaka Rakhmonov right now. But we'll see how that goes and how he does when he comes back. But JDM looked incredible, and there's going to be some fun matchups. I feel like now, the welterweight belt is going to be changing hands. It already has been ever since Usman has lost the title. Leon had it for a while, but then Belal got it, and Belal wasn't able to defend, and he lost it right away. And yeah, I mean, what's next for Belal? I think if Kamaru Usman does in fact beat Joaquin Buckley, then let's do Kamaru Usman versus Belal Muhammad for maybe a main event of Fight Night, or a co-main event on a pay-per-view. And for JDM, well, obviously now you got to do JDM versus Islam Makhachev, and apparently the UFC is going back to Perth, and I feel like it's going to be during the summer, maybe in August. So hopefully JDM isn't too banged up after this fight, and he can fight in August, and we can see that matchup. And I guess in the co-main event, we can have Alexander Volkanovski versus Movsar Evloev, and you can kind of do like Australia versus Dagestan. And I think those are going to be some great matchups, but JDM looked incredible. Then in the co-main event, we had Valentina Shevchenko actually beating Manon Fiorot, and I thought that Valentina would lose this matchup, but she looked good. I felt like she won the fight 4-1. The only round that Manon took was the second round, and I was actually shocked in the first round. Like, she must have been really nervous or really jittery, because she was not fighting well at all in the first round. She was just walking into range, not setting up any strikes, and she was getting busted up by Valentina. It was like really almost like amateurish from Manon, and I was surprised. But Valentina just showed that there's levels, and she was doing really well on the feet, but non-striking didn't look good, and she resorted to like trying to take her down, but it worked at times because you could tell she was just a physically bigger fighter, and sometimes she would get takedowns, but she wasn't able to do anything significant with them, and Valentina was able to get back to work on the feet. She seemed like she had her jab figured out, and she was able to land her counter right hook as well as Manon was trying to enter into rage, and Manon didn't really have any answers for that. And yeah, Valentina looked good. And next up would be Valentina versus maybe Natalia Silva, or you could do Valentina versus Wei Li, and then Natalia Silva can fight after that because she's still relatively young. I think she's under 30, Natalia Silva, so maybe give her a bit more time to prepare. She's definitely the number one contender. I don't think she has to fight anyone else, but yeah, she beat Alexa Grasso, and I guess you could do Valentina versus Wei Li, and then whatever happens in that fight, Natalia Silva gets a winner. And then there was Jose Aldo versus Arman Zahabi, and to be honest, when I watched it live, I thought Jose Aldo won, but I can see why Arman Zahabi won the fight. Like it was a bit weird. Like I have some thoughts about round 3 specifically, but in round 2, like I did feel like Arman Zahabi was more active. He was landing more shots, and it was just his activity. And Aldo was trying to conserve his energy. But like I think he opened up a cut like on one of Ayman's eyes at one point, which is why I gave him the round, and I felt like his strikes had a bit more damage behind them. But then we get to round 3, and Aldo nearly gets a knockout. He gets like several knockdowns, and I felt like at one point he almost like got an illegal knockdown because it looked like Arman Zahabi had both his hands on the floor, and then Aldo just like punt kicked the hell out of him. Like it looked like it was like Randy Orton in there, and Arman Zahabi nearly got knocked out from that, but he was able to recover. And then Aldo made a huge mistake by like he was starting to gas out after like trying to finish him, and he couldn't get the finish, so he started to gas out because he used so much energy trying to get the finish. But then he shoots for a takedown because Arman is putting the pressure, and Aldo is like, oh man, this is getting uncomfortable. The air is getting thinner. Like it's getting harder and harder to breathe. So he looks for a way out. But Arman Zahabi turns it and around and flips it on him, and he's able to land some damaging elbows, busting Aldo's head open too. And it looks really rough. And they gave round 3 to Arman Zahabi. And the thing is, Aldo won the first half of the round, and Ayman won the last half of the round. And I don't know, I feel like that round should have been a 10-10 round because they like Aldo got like 3 knockdowns at least, and he got really close to finishing him. And Ayman, he had some good ground and pound, but at no point did I really feel like, oh, is the referee gonna step in? Like Aldo was always able to get him off of him and start to defend. So I felt like that should have been a 10-10 round, and actually it should have been a draw. But ultimately, it's a good moment for Arman Zahabi, and Aldo is a legend regardless. He's one of the greatest of all time, and I'm glad he's retired now. Then we have Benoit Saint-Denis just going out there and doing what he's supposed to do and getting the finish in the second round. He did get tagged up a bit, but he looked pretty good. He had a good ground game and a good clinch, and yeah, he did what Benoit Saint-Denis was supposed to do. And I guess maybe him versus Mateus Gamrot, or you can rebook the Joel Alvarez fight. But yeah, that was a good bounce back fight for BSD. And on the main card, there was also Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. And I thought Natalia Silva was going to win, and she did exactly what she was supposed to do, dominating Grasso with her kicks, her movement. She was just way too fast. And yeah, like she deserves the next title shot. She is on the 12-fight win streak or 13-fight win streak. Like she's really good. So yeah, her versus Valentina will be a good fight next. But overall, this was a really good card. And yeah, I'm just still surprised from that incredible performance from Jack Della Maddalena. But let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you guys for watching. God bless.